Hi guys, today I'm going to be talking about bullying, which is a topic mainly stressed in schools, and they usually teach you how not to be a bystander, how not to be a bully, what to do if you see a bully, but what they really don't teach you about, I guess, would be personal stories. They don't really let people speak out. I mean, if somebody does, it's rare. Recently a girl named Amanda Todd committed suicide because of her mistakes. We're human beings. We're not perfect. So why would you judge someone for being human? You do the same things. But why does nobody bully you about it? Because you're the bully. That's why. My story begins in 7th grade. I met this girl named Arlene. She introduced me to deathcore, metal, heavy metal, rock, screamo, and emo, and I liked it, I guess. And she introduced me to these other people, and I guess people would call them goth and stuff like that. And the losers that were in the corner, which I now call my friends, have been with me through this entire time. They've helped me with this. I started listening to music, and I really got into it. I would listen to it after school, in the morning, I guess. And some people after school would hear me listen to that. And it just wasn't... They called me loser, good for nothing, and emo, goth, punk, and I first just ignored it, I guess. And then I guess the bullying got to me a bit. In 7th grade I was an honor student, and also in 6th grade. In 8th grade my grades started dropping big time, to the point where I almost failed. I could have almost got left back. In around March, I presented a presentation on bullying that we were supposed to do in math class, and I shared my story. I didn't name anybody, but I just said people have been calling me this and this and this and this and this. And my math teacher she was touched by it. She also started crying, and she shared her own personal story. And I guess some of the people that bullied me were in that class, and they told the other people that bullied me. And 2 days later, all you see is this big, huge group around me just chanting this song or whatever, or this thing calling me loser, emo, goth, good for nothing. Why were you born? Go kill yourself. Go cut yourself. So I did. Last day in March, I cut 3 long scars into my wrist. And I guess I felt a little better, but at the same time that hurt. And I'm not ashamed of those scars. I mean, they're gone. But I'm not ashamed, but I'm not embarrassed, and I'm not proud of them. Even if the scars physically are gone, they stay in your heart, and it hurts. April 2nd, I posted a suicide note on Facebook. And if it wasn't for a friend of mine named Barcelona, I wouldn't be here. She sent that post to my music teacher, who I care about dearly, and I love her. And she is like my second mother. She treats me like her daughter. And that message, she gave it to the principal. The principal, as if it was the first thing on her mind that day. It was in science class. And like, class hadn't even begun. She hadn't taken attendance. The bell hadn't even rung. And so she called in and she said, please send Kelly to the office. So I went to the office. And what happened was, I guess, she asked me, do you know why you're here? I replied no. She read to me the message. She got a bit teary. And I'm like, what do you want me to do about it? She saw my wrist. It was covered up in a bandana. And she asked me if I did anything. I said, it was the only way. I couldn't deal with it anymore. And she kept asking me questions like, who's bothering you? What's happening? So and so. And she just kept asking me questions. After like 5 minutes of questions, I didn't say a word. Nothing. I didn't answer any of the questions or anything. My music teacher then walked in, and I fell to the ground, and I cried. A lot of thoughts were going through my head. Suicide, regret, confusion, hurt, sad, angry, all a bunch of mixed emotions. And it was just, she knelt down and she hugged me, and I told her about the people that bullied me. And I said, this and this person did this, and that person did this. She did this to me. He put this in my locker. He pushed me into this, and the bullying was physical and emotional. It hurt. It wasn't fun. But I guess after I said all those things, it felt a bit better. So the guidance counselor said, we're going to call your mom. And I kept broken down in tears because I knew she was going to be angry or sad and anything like that. And so they called my mom. My mom came in and they read her the note, and she was like, you're worthless. This is the lowest you've ever gone. You're good for nothing. How could you do this to your mother? You're a failure. And it hurt. I guess in a way she was also being a bully. And they told me she has to be sent to a hospital. She needs help. So they sent me to this place called Bergen Regional. And I was supposed to be there for 7 days. The first 3 days, my mom had the choice to come. But she didn't. The third day she came. And she's like, a couple more days and you'll be out of here. We can go back home and this will all go back to normal. And I guess she said, I have plans for you, for your future. And I was like, what about my plans? What about my future? What about what I want to do? I mean, some of it was also because my mom had me caged in. She didn't let me go out. She had me like under parent surveillance every single time, 24/7, and I just had no privacy, nothing. And the 7th day came and my mom was happy, and the day before I was thinking about it like, oh, tomorrow I can go home. It'll all be over. But at the same time, it wasn't like, I just didn't feel like it was the best thing. So I stayed there for 4 more days, and it was just because I kept having these dreams of my friends just doing these things to themselves because of bullies. Because I wasn't there, it would hurt them, and it was just hard. So the 4 days were up, and I went back home. My mom still kept me locked in, even though the therapist told her give your daughter a bit more of privacy. She didn't listen. She still has me locked up today. She doesn't let me go out, still doesn't let me buy certain things. And when I came back to school, my friends, I couldn't bear seeing their faces. This is my story. My friends were bullied. My friends were bullied a lot. One day, my friend Michael came into lunch, and he's a drummer. He's tall. He's just like a normal, regular guy. And he was wearing long sleeves that day. And I asked him why. And he showed me his scars, and I broke down in tears because people bullied him, and he didn't like himself. Insecurity. Insecurity takes over me, and him, and many other people. So don't do this anymore.